what's going on? It's Inside Boxing Brain, and we're back for another video. It's a sleepy Monday. What a long Monday it's been, and we're just getting into the week, but the boxing world is forever moving, so I wanted to jump on, stay online, and do a reaction to the breaking news around Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Where do we even begin with this? I want to kind of take it right back to where this all really began. And this current fight, or this current situation, started from Tyson Fury calling out Anthony Joshua on social media. Now, he did a quick video where he essentially said, look, you have recently been beaten by Usyk, you're now beltless, so maybe you should fight me, try and regain your credibility back, do it for the British fans, and it'll be a great fight for you, me, and the British fans, and the world. And if you think you can beat me, let's get it on. So it was quite a direct, send. He called him out, and Joshua immediately jumped online, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, saying, I don't want to negotiate online, let's do it the proper way. So we were all led to believe that negotiations had started again for the Fury-Joshua fight. Now, as fans, it's one of the biggest fights out there, and it's something that 99.9% of people want to see, especially within the boxing world. So negotiations started again, and things seemed to be moving quite quickly because Tyson had given them a deadline. They said you have to accept. Shortly after that, Eddie Hearn comes out and says, well, I don't think he's being serious, it's a bluff, and even if it's serious, it'll probably be a low ball offer. And basically calling him out, saying that he doesn't think Tyson wants to fight, and they're doing it for clout. So the contract went over. As soon as the contracts go over, they realise that it's not a bluff, because they offer them a 60-40 split. Now, that is a great split considering the fact that Joshua was coming off back-to-back defeats. So for someone who's got back-to-back defeats, even though they have the fanfare of Joshua to offer them a 60-40 split, and another chance at the heavyweight championship of the world, that was an offer that nobody should really turn down. So the contracts went over around about 10 days ago, and Frank Warren, Tyson Fury, Eddie Hearn, they've all been out and about, especially within the boxing forums, talking about the contract and how negotiations are going well, and they're really interested in this fight. But slowly over the last 10 days, we've seen it unravel and unwind. Eddie Hearn seems to have an issue with the finite details within the contract. Now, he said on a couple of occasions that he wanted to get the best commercial value for Anthony Joshua, and it was a take it or leave it deal. There was no negotiations to be had. This is word for word what he has said previously. So now that the contracts have gone over, with that mantra in mind, you would think that the same rules would apply, that there were going to be no negotiations within the finite details of this contract. But over the last 10 days, given the fact that yes, the Queen has passed away and we've had a bank holiday, but they've had the contract, they've had time to essentially sign it without a negotiation period, having experienced that when negotiating the splits. So for me, when I hear Eddie Hearn say that the lawyers have got the contract and they're going through it and there's going to be negotiations because of the broadcasters and so forth, to me it's bullshit, because they can sign the fight agreement before the broadcasters agree the technicalities of how it's going to be broadcasted. It comes down to these men being greedy and wanting all the money. Anthony Joshua is a very wealthy man. Tyson Fury is a very wealthy man. I think where the problems come It's not with the fighters not wanting to fight each other, it's with the broadcasters and the promoters. Queensberry and Matchroom have historically hated one another. You could literally put Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn have never met one another in real life. Frank has actually sent his son to go and negotiate this fight with Eddie. So it shows a big disconnect between the two parties. And that is not forthcoming when you're trying to get a fight on. The reason why there were no negotiations is because Frank knew that as soon as we negotiate with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, this fight is going to get delayed, prolonged, and he's going to take the control and the leverage of power away from Tyson Fury and Queensberry Sports and make it either a more neutral or try and leverage it to an advantage for Matchroom. They've got the backing of DAZN. Queensberry have got the backing of BT Sport. They try to bring these networks together, and they're using that as a reason to delay, prolong, and essentially not sign the fight contract, the fight bout agreement. It's all a smokescreen. This is all bullshit, and it's all a smokescreen. Now, yes, I am a Tyson Fury fan, and let me reframe that. I'm a boxing fan. I rate great boxers and great boxing wherever I see it. I have criticised Tyson Fury in the past. I have criticised Anthony Joshua in the past. I have praised them both equally as well. But there is a distinct difference between the two fighters, and the reason why I support Tyson to beat Joshua in this fight, I've got a long list of reasons. But it doesn't take away from each of their achievements within the ring. But to put that to one side, as a spectator looking in, it almost feels like the people within Anthony Joshua's camp want to keep him away from Tyson Fury. It's almost like his closest advisors, the people that maybe sit on his board, his team members, know that if he gets in the ring with Tyson Fury, especially at this time in his career, he's going to lose, and he's going to lose in devastating fashion. He's coming off back-to-back defeats, and his training team is a mess. His trainer, this Angel Garcia, is just a myth. I don't understand why and how he's got the resume credibility to be the heavyweight champion of the world, or ex-heavyweight champion of the world's trainer. You know, they brought in this Robert Garcia from America, but this guy lives in America. He's got a family. He was open in his interviews before the rematch with Usyk that he missed his kids, he missed, you know, his family. He actually missed his daughter's graduation, and he was going to go back, spend time with the family, and he felt that Joshua should come to America and train with them, with American fighters, with a different pool of fighters, to learn new skills, to test himself and be at the bottom again. But clearly he has not taken him up on that, or maybe he will be doing it shortly when he doesn't fight Tyson. But I personally do not think that Anthony Joshua is in a good place mentally right now. I think his outburst at the end of the rematch with Usyk, as I mentioned in my last videos, showed a man who's frustrated, and it shows a man who's not allowed to be himself and express himself openly in terms of his real true nature and true character. And when you are the heavyweight champion of the world, not only are you putting your life on the line in the ring, you have some loyal, die-hard supporters and fans. So to not be able to be yourself to your fans almost makes you feel fake, and I think Anthony Joshua has got a fake complex. It comes out when he's around his friends, really. Like, I saw it on his social media. The guy's rapping back to Tyson Fury about contract negotiations and signing the contract. Does that strike you as the type of guy who is ready to sign a contract and go and get this fight on no matter what? It doesn't. When Tyson Fury came back from his hiatus, when he was on a drug-fueled bender, had mental health issues, he got a contract from Deontay Wilder, which, in his own words, he signed within 24 hours of getting it. Now, all the leverage was in Wilder's camp. Undefeated, hardest hitting knockout artist of all time, had knocked out every single fighter he had ever fought. So it stinks like shit. Honestly, the whole Joshua camp, it's just hypocrisy. It's like they understand that he is worth so much. His financial value as an asset, as a brand, is worth so much globally that they understand that a loss to Tyson Fury at this time would destroy him. And by destroying his brand, it would destroy his commercial value, which would destroy them. And that's what it is. Anthony Joshua has become more than just a boxer, in the sense of he's now a product. Whereas Tyson Fury is still raw, he's still the real person in the sense that he walks the streets, not acting like a major celebrity, and he gets the authentic fanfare because of it. Whereas, you know, you've seen all the bullshit that's been going on in Joshua's camp with him, you know, calling out and fighting students, saying that you'll get hurt, and his outburst after the fight, and you know, the way he spoke with Kugan Cassius after the first loss, it was just, it's weird to watch almost. It looks fabricated. And all of his fights that he's had, they've all been sort of gimmicks, given fights. Even though he's had Eddie Hearn, the best salesman in the world, try and, you know, hype him up. That silver lining has gone. They popped that bubble. And now I think the real fans and, you know, just casual fans are starting to see that, okay, it's clear to see that Tyson Fury is being avoided. And why is that? Why are they avoiding Tyson Fury? And the reason is, and this is why, boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. And the whole mental aspect, the reason why it is an influence in boxing is because somebody who is sane or corpus mentis can be broken and overcome mentally. And as a fighter, you're already doing something which is really, you know, tough on the body and tough on the mind and the spirit. Like, you are going out there and fighting another person. It's animalistic. It's, you know, it's raw and violent. It takes a certain type of character to be able to do that in the first place. Fighters are a special breed of people. And when you put those fighters in the media spotlight, the mental aspect of the game really takes over from the physical, because in the heavyweight division, all these men can fight. They're all fighters. They can all punch one another, and a heavyweight can hit hard to hurt any other heavyweight. That's the old saying, isn't it, that any heavyweight can knock another heavyweight out. They've just got to catch them at the right time with the right amount of power in the right place with a big shot. And that's how it happens in the heavyweight division. It's not necessarily just about skill and pitter-pattering about. So anyone can knock anybody out, but to overcome the mental battle when you are facing another man, to know that you can beat that man mentally, that is where the real challenges arise. And I think that no fighter in the heavyweight division can mentally challenge or break down a Tyson Fury. He said it himself, only he can destroy himself. He's made himself into an alter ego. So people don't know who they're fighting. He comes across like a crazy person. He contradicts himself. He says far-reaching, wild comments. He is the perfect villain and the perfect hero wrapped into one. You know, whoever managed his career after bringing him back from the brink of suicide and self-destruction is a genius. The people who have marketed him, campaigned, you know, to give him publicity and help him build his profile, it's brilliant, because they've not only made him a superstar, but they've made him untouchable to all other heavyweights. Every fighter who will ever face Tyson Fury from now on will have to say, yeah, he's really tough, he's really challenging, he's one of the best of all time. And no one will ever be able to talk him down because of the ascent that he's had after his comeback. The trilogies with Wilder, the knockout of Dillian White, in spectacular fashion, may I add, with a beautiful uppercut that just caught him clean. But Tyson Fury is the king of the mental warfare, and because mental warfare is 90% of the fight, no one can get close to him. They're always worried about, what's he gonna do? He's unpredictable. We spoke yesterday in the Joyce Parker fight just how predictable Joyce can be, but Tyson Fury is the complete opposite. He's completely wild, and he masters most skills in the ring. There are some flaws in his game, and we will talk about them when Tyson finally announces his next opponent and who he's going to be fighting. But to round up, why fighters do not want to fight Tyson Fury is because he is the king of mental warfare and trash talk. He beats men mentally before he ever gets them in the ring. And then due to the fact that he is blessed physically and he has the boxing brains, inside boxing brains, and the physical prowess to go and dominate people, it makes him, in this era at least, the most dominant heavyweight. And one of the most dominant heavyweights to ever live. Don't get me wrong, he can still be knocked out, it's been seen, but the power of recovery is unchallenged as well. As we said, any fighter in the heavyweight division can get knocked out. But the fight's not happening. Tyson has come out today and basically said, fuck it, you're not having the fight, you've not signed the contract. So it means that now, potentially, Tyson is going to move on and fight this Emmanuel Char, which is a very boring fight, if I'll be honest with you, but if it gets announced, we'll do a reaction video for it, but, we shall see. So, the fight's off. I've been listening to TalkSport radio, and there's some great conversation points to be had, but I really think this comes down to the fact that Anthony Joshua's team, his closest advisor, 258 Management and Matchroom Sport, Eddie Hearn, did not want this fight for him. They know that Joshua's in a bad place, and they know that Tyson Fury is using that to his benefit, and they're not going to throw their men to the wolves. It's bait. He's cat food for Tyson at this point. And I think Eddie Hearn knows better than to throw him into a fight like that at this point. So, smoke and mirrors once again. They're going to go into this, rigmarole of he said, she said, it was them, no, it was them. So the fight's not happening. It's yet to be seen if the fight with Alexander Usyk is going to get made next year. We need to get Tyson through this fight. He needs another victory. And then potentially that fight with Usyk will get made. If not, then there's always the Joyce-Usyk fight, which again is really interesting. I personally see Joshua taking a fight like a rematch with Joseph Parker. I think that's going to be a fan-friendly fight for him and a good comeback fight for him, or a fight with Dillian White. But we're not going to be seeing Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua on December the 3rd at Principality Stadium in Cardiff. So stay tuned. This is such a quick moving, scene and scenario that you never know what's going to happen. It could get signed tonight and the fight's on, but as of right now, the fight is off. Everything is done. Tyson's basically said, fuck you, and that's it. So, guys, thanks for watching the video again. And thank you to everybody who has been subscribing to my channel. I said at the start of this video, we've had like 2,000 views in the last 24 hours, which for me and this little small channel, just talking about boxing and my predictions and my thoughts, is really nice to know that people are interested in watching. Drop me a comment below if you think this was interesting and why you think the fight's not happening. I will be back for another video very soon. It's Inside Boxing Brain, and it was a pleasure speaking to you.